Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, comrades, compañeros, welcome to another edition of the Moynihan Report here on Two Way. I'm your host, Michael Moynihan. We got a lot of stuff to get to today, and it all has to do with Nazis. Just for the record, it's a very Nazi-heavy show today, so I guess this is good for the algorithm if you look at my Twitter feed. And I don't know, I click on this stuff and it just keeps coming fast and thick. And I'm starting to think the Holocaust numbers are a little high. Today, joining us, I've been promising this. We had a couple of mix-up before. The great comic, Danny Polishchuk, who is the co-host of the Boys Cast. He's got a couple of live shows.
Yeah, I do a live call-in show.
Bathhouse.
The Bathhouse, live from the Stand Comedy Club, and a Low Value Mail, which is kind of like a coast-to-coast type deal Monday nights on YouTube.
That's your Art Bell, right? That's the call-in show. Of
yes, that is my ode to Art Bell.
Yeah. And we'll get to some dates at the end of the show, but you're a stand-up too.
Yeah, I'm a comedian.
You do the Cellar here in the city.
Yeah, I do the Comedy Cellar, the Stand. I'll be in Dallas this weekend, Hyenas Comedy Club.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Cellar, but it means a lot. Just you passed at the Cellar.
Yeah.
Is like getting a record on a label that you know puts out good
Sure.
stuff. So,
You know, the Cellar is the spot.
It is the spot. My friend, your friend too, Noam Dworman, who runs it. But the reason it's fortuitously timed with the Nazi stuff is not just because you're Jewish.
It's pretty evergreen. I don't know if you noticed.
Since 1933, it's been
Definitely in the last 2 years, it's been. You go, so we're just still going with this.
Well,
huh?
I want to play a clip of a thing of yours, a video of yours, which has gone viral a whole bunch of times.
Well, the funny thing, and you'll play it, but like when I say evergreen, I made this sketch like now 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I make sketches all the time.
Yeah.
Normally they exist in like a point in time.
Yes.
And generally you're like, that's it.
Yeah, you can't do the Biden bit
it's like
anymore.
Fast fashion.
Yeah,
It's a very short shelf life.
Yeah.
This goes viral nonstop.
Nonstop.
Like literally nonstop.
Yeah.
It's just like I have it on my Instagram, and it's just every month this video just gets 5 million views on Instagram. People repost it constantly. Every time someone reposts it, it gets 1 million views.
Are you making any money off this?
No,
of course not. Of course not. But I want to play a clip of it, and as a setup. The reason it's both evergreen and relevant today, doing double duty, is that it is you as the man who counts Jews and things.
Yes.
And I want to the etymology of that I want to get to in a second.
Sure.
But this is just a clip of it because it's a little longer than this, but a clip of Danny's counting Jews and things.
With different versions of his name. It doesn't really matter. People believe it because they're fucking idiots. Take Comcast NBC, for example. They have 186,000 employees, and here I counted 100 Jews working there. Concerning. A lot of my former friends and family find it weird how obsessed I am with Jews and how many there are in things. But what I find weird is that 212 Jews have received Nobel Prizes, which makes up 22% of all Nobel Prizes ever given out. Pretty weird considering they only make up 0.2% of the world's population, right?
It's true, by the way, and it's also very impressive.
It is.
We should envy Jews.
Well, depends who you ask.
Yeah, depends who you ask.
People think that it might be a little rigged.
This, you told me one time, because I mentioned this to you, because the whole thing is really, really funny, and I love it. But I was really surprised when you told me this was based on a real person.
This is based on a real person. Yes, his name is Leather Apron Club, who I'm not going to
Leather Apron Club.
His name's Leather Apron Club, which I believe is a reference to Benjamin Franklin.
Oh.
Something like that.
Oh, I thought it was a Nazi reference.
No. It's either Benjamin Franklin or I think it's Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
Maybe Newton. I don't know. But something like that. And they had some group. It was called the Leather Apron Club. But anyways, he's this guy. He is this highly autistic guy. I don't know where he lives. Somewhere in America. And he is the preeminent guy who counts Jews and things.
Yeah.
He made a website. That the name escapes me. I'm on there. It's a master database. It has, I believe, over 1 million entries.
1 million Jews.
No. So he tries to be like
collaborators too.
No. It's not even just collaborators. He's very much just like, I want to know all about representation. The premise is to track Jews.
Academic. Yeah.
But the premise is to track Jews, but he's like, I don't want to just be like, oh, I'm just counting Jews.
Yeah.
So like you might be on there.
But why would I be on the Jew list?
Just to be like a guy who's not Jewish.
Oh,
right?
he's not Jewish.
Yeah. So but then he's like, this person is
So he's
Jewish.
like the 23andMe of anti-Semites, right?
Kind of. Yeah,
big database. Yeah.
And his concern, he's very concerned with overrepresentation of Jews and things. It's very
Have you been in contact with him?
I've spoken with him. I have spoken with him.
Actually spoken
If
with
you
him?
look up my entry on his site, I believe it's called Social Sentinel something SS.
Yeah.
No, that's not an
no.
accident.
No, not.
But he
likes alliteration.
Yeah, but
and hates Jews.
In my like entry, he says like he has this sketch and it's based off of me and I'm flattered by it. And I've tried to get him on my call-in show, Low Value Mail, because I'm like, I just want to talk to him.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like I do find this stuff fascinating.
Yes.
Like I am interested by it. And I just want to talk to him, but he thinks it's going to be some kind of gotcha. But like I've had some pretty out there people.
You're going to reveal him as an anti-Semite?
Well,
that's be the gotcha.
I think he thinks I'm going to bring him on and then just like lay into him, and the callers are going to lay into him. But it's not that kind of show.
And people are afraid of comedians too. Like you're going to make fun of him.
But I did make fun of him.
Yeah, you did make fun. You actually did a sketch.
Yeah,
just do it in person.
Yes, I did make fun of him. So
wait, but on that point, my favorite detail of this sketch, which has gone viral a million times, is that you made fun of him, but oftentimes people don't realize that you're making fun of him playing a character.
It is way more than often. Like, it's actually concerning how many people watch this and they're like, this is a real guy. Like, they see the account says Danny Jokes. I say in the thing, because I every sketch I make, the character's name is some former Blue Jay.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
But so is Aaron Hill, who used to be the second baseman for the Blue Jays about 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So, but people see it says, my name's Aaron Hill.
Yeah.
Danny Jokes, obviously. And they go, this guy is on this. Like, I have so many people who I get constant DMs. I'm talking 5 to 10 a week of people being like, hey, can you look into how many Jews there are in the government in Serbia for me? Like, they think I'm like, this is what I do for a living. And they're wanting me. They're like, I get like,
no, this is what Leather Apron does for a living,
right? Yeah. Well, I think he has a normal job. I don't think this is his profession.
Yeah, I wonder if he'd get fired from that job. If
I don't know. He obviously keeps some sort of anonymity, and that's maybe why he didn't want to come on the show. But I get constant messages from people being like, "Can you check how many Jews there are in this? How many are in this?" I might have a little side business.
That's a side business. I mean, as the time in that where you break character a bit is when you say because people are fucking idiots.
Yeah,
and they clearly, I mean, that in there is not indicating to people, and then further proving your point that they're fucking idiots.
I'm worried about how dumb the average person is on the internet.
Yeah,
right
this is well. Let's talk about a dumb person in Maine.
Oh yeah.
I know about Maine. Maine's fun. There's probably a lot of dumb people in Maine, but one of them happens to be the Democrat running, or who wants to run against Susan Collins for the Senate seat. Not a House seat. He's going to go up to the Senate seat. And his name is it Graham Planter? Is that his name? I just double check. I think it's Graham.
Something like that.
Graham Planter, which is a pretty great name.
This has been quite the to-do.
It's been quite the to-do because Graham Planter is also apparently a total alcoholic.
Yeah.
And takes his shirt off at weddings. And this is what
no,
have you done
this
that?
is a little revisionist history here.
What?
That used to be a fun guy.
That used to be a fun guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're like, if it was a certain era, he goes, I was a fun guy.
Yeah, totally.
The tides have changed.
The tides have changed, but I'm going to tell you something that's not a fun guy. When you take the shirt off, and let's put it and there's an SS tattoo on his chest. That skull and crossbones is the SS Totenkopf division.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, initially made up of concentration camp guards.
Yeah, some sort of policing.
Yeah, then did some war crimes later on the Russian front. But he is shirtless in a Chris Farley-like moment with an SS. And he said, hey, look, I got this 20 years ago when I was in the military, by the way. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
And I was in Croatia, which incidentally had a collaborationist Nazi government during the war.
Oh yeah, I get some Croatians.
Yeah, Croatians
very happy
love sending you DMs, and said, I didn't know what it meant. This is the political headline, says he'll remove the tattoo that resembles a Nazi symbol, which it is a Nazi symbol, And then, of course, the subhead here is his former political director said he knows damn well what the tattoo
That's interesting.
signifies.
Yeah. He must have had some beef with his former staff.
I assume so, and he revealed the Nazi tattoo.
Because there is some element where I'm willing to. You go. I was drunk. I got a tattoo. I didn't know.
Get the fucking thing removed.
Yeah,
20 years.
Well, that's what he's saying now. Is he's like, well, I didn't realize. He's like, I'm gonna get this thing removed if this is such a problem.
Yeah. If I have to get this removed to be in the Senate, it's like a dress code. I have
Just a big American eagle,
Well, this is some of my favorite tweets about it. The first one is Emma Vigeland. She's one that does that thing with Sam Seder. How many people get tattoos they thought looked cool but didn't understand the meaning of? How many vets took mercenary work for a period because the U.S. doesn't support them? I think that's an unrelated point. How many young men have shit posted online? Do we want an authentic working class party, Danny, or not? Because the authentic working class people have Nazi tattoos on their chest.
Sure.
Apparently.
I mean, obviously, should the roles be reversed, they would be equally gracious.
Yeah, they'd be like that. Yeah.
Sometimes you get a Nazi tattoo.
Yeah, if Tucker was undoing his thing and there was a Himmler tattoo, they'd be like, But I love it. Do you want an authentic working class party or not? Because, by the way, that is the most fucking condescending thing that comes from, because he's a liberal candidate and this elite liberals. It's like, look, working class people get bad tattoos of Nazi stuff. It just happens. It's like, I know a lot of working class people. I grew up in a working class family. I've never, ever seen a Nazi tattoo in my life.
No, not that I'm trying to think. I don't think so. It's crazy that Keith Olbermann's the only kind of reasonable one right now.
Oh, is he being reasonable about it?
He's just kind of like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, wow.
You think he's a party guy, but no, this is actually a line in Keith.
Keith's got a couple of tattoos, but you got them removed. It's totally fine. Get that Lenin one on his shoulder.
Sure.
All right, and one more tweet. This is the one that I thought was incredible. Krystal Ball, you know her. For me personally, I'll take a candidate with a regrettable tattoo over one who steadfastly supported a genocide. I don't know what the community note is there, but to say that it's fine having the genocidal tattoo because he doesn't support genocide, yet he has a Nazi tattoo on his chest of the SS concentration camp guard guys. It seems to be a bit of a weird...
That's a tough one. I mean, that's the problem when you kind of go so deep into one thing where she's just like, my identity now is that Israel did a genocide.
Correct.
So now everything has to be cross-referenced to that.
It's absolutely true. I mean, that's kind of the moment that's driving me crazy. Like I was walking down Broadway last night, and
genocide.
And there was a genocide. I walked. There was an anti-ICE protest.
Oh, okay.
And I had to be.
Well, they were on Canal Street.
Yeah, it was just south of Canal Street.
Yeah.
And I walked down, and a very nice cop, because I said, and it's like, it has nothing to do with my politics, what I think about the issue. The guy's like, where are you going? And I was like, I'm trying to get around these assholes. And he was like, let me take you around. Oh, he was like, that was when he was nice to me. But I noticed, it's just a fact. I just didn't notice. I'm not pointing. The number of people that were there that had headscarves and keffiyehs on.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, ceasefire. You guys got to do something else.
Yeah.
And it's all like the ICE and the kid from Colombia.
I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot. I go, where do these people go now?
Yeah.
Right? These generally professional protesters. Not professional, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what they do.
Yeah, they're not professional because they don't get paid at anything.
Seems like the logical one.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, it's like I actually had a conversation at dinner because I was walking to dinner, and everyone there was like, yeah, I think it's gone a little too far on the ICE stuff. It was like a pretty uniform people across the political spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a reasonable protest, but then you see the people protesting and you just want to be on the other side.
I know.
It's
the question is, I agree with the ICE thing, but you're like, when have these people really ever been right about anything?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Generally, I'm like A-list celebrities,
yeah,
and all those like leftist protesters. I just go, whatever their causes, I'm just taking the other side. I'm on the other side of it. It's a reflex at this point.
Who is this? Is this the guy? I want the other one, the other Nazi, and then we'll get to some people out there.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
This is Paul Ingracia, and I just wanted to use my phone to read this. I was just on the subway, and I was writing down his best bits.
Hey Zoran, can we get Wi-Fi on the subways?
This is honestly, I have to wait.
You want to talk about raising morale in the city?
This is a very. You should work at his campaign. Like, hey, can you stomp the Gaza 5K run?
Yeah.
To do a little policy amendments here.
We just get Wi-Fi. It's like we know it can be done.
I lived in Sweden 20 years ago, and they had Wi-Fi on the.
I mean, they have it on the L train. You're underwater.
They do?
Yeah, the L train between
is that
between
true?
Brooklyn and Manhattan.
Like the
has
first to have
Wi-Fi.
Bedford. That.
Yes.
Wow.
They have it. So
Is that a pilot plan?
I don't know what it is. I don't know how they just it's worked since I lived here.
Because I'm always going on airplane mode.
Yeah.
In between stops, like I'm like trying to get
Yeah,
it
just
to
trying to
pick
get a
up.
little just-
'Cause I was like trying to like
little
read the
something,
story
a
and
little dopamine hit in between stops.
yeah. And it's like it's literally Wordle.
Yeah,
But, you know,
yeah,
trying to get
sure.
that. But yeah, that's a very good idea. I appreciate
Maybe
that.
it might be too good.
It might be too good for him.
too good for
because
us.
he likes to have a monopoly on bad ideas.
Yes.
And so this one might be too sensible for him. But Paul Ingrassia, who is the Office of Special, he's the lead the Office of Special Counsel, I think. And I had to pull up, when I was on the train, I had to pull up some of his bon mots here. My favorite one is, I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time.
Sure, that could be. Let's not.
It's like what? Like from time to time.
Yeah.
And it's just a streak. But is it the genocidal streak?
Yeah, that like the moment we put grammar Nazi, like that kind of thing, it kind of implied you're like, I can say this and not hate the Jews. Like it was similar to that Young Republicans group chat where there was like, oh, you need someone like far right, and he goes, well, if that's then I'm a Nazi. And you're like, it's a joke.
Yeah, I didn't read the details of that. I just saw that these like teenage Republicans, like some of them were like they're in their 50s, like guys in their 40s, and it's like, I don't know. I think it's probably pretty bad.
Quite young.
That was one.
Longer.
And then he said, never trust an Indian. Don't know which one he meant, by the way.
I have an idea.
You think it's dots?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like Canada where you don't trust the other ones.
I don't know if you know what's going on in Canada right now.
No,
pal.
well, I remember that they're
The
not.
anti-Indian sentiment in Canada is like anything I've ever seen in my entire
What?
life.
Is that real?
Oh yeah, it's really really bad.
Like the subcontinent, India or
Subcontinent.
Okay, really?
Yeah, because
I thought you meant your
our
First Peoples.
no. Our fearless leader Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
So they basically it's a whole thing, but essentially they made it so that you could get permanent residency in Canada if you went to some college. Basically, like you could go to a college in Canada, and then that would be a pathway to get a permanent residency in Canada. And so overnight, and there was no cap on it for some reason. Overnight, all these we're talking like strip malls. Colleges are like popping up in strip malls.
Oh, right.
And so the chief people who kind of, I guess, abused this were people in India who realized I can go to some fake college in Canada for 2 years, for whatever. And if you do that, you get a permanent residence.
So you can get an associate's degree.
Oh,
or like low level
less than that.
University of
like
Phoenix.
we're not even talking about community college. Yeah, like maybe University of Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like something like these are not used, and like these people are not using their degrees. It was
Is there a University of Phoenix like thing in Canada? Like the University of Brampton or something that comes with.
That's I don't know if there's a university. We always got ads for DeVry, but I know DeVry.
That's a global.
American.
That's a global phenomenon.
Global. I don't think so. We have basically we have universities and colleges in Canada are community.
Yeah.
Because I always find it odd here that someone could go to a university and they say I went to college.
Yeah. That's it. We have a nomenclature problem.
Yeah. It's all you're like you went to Harvard and you're like I went to college. That's odd.
But never trust an Indian. I'm going to assume you're not on Paul Ingrassia's side on this.
No. I have many Indian friends. I like them all.
Yes. That's the people that I do trust the most, by the way. Because the thing was with Jewish doctors, we had this conversation with you just want to make sure your doctor's Jewish.
Yeah, of course.
It was at a dinner on Sunday, and there were a couple of jokes about this. My thing growing up was always, I want my doctor to be Indian. So I am saying that my stereotype is that I trust you probably more than I should.
With your life.
Yes, there's a billion of you, but still.
Absolutely.
I trust Indians.
And obviously there's bad apples in any group.
You're starting to sound like the Jew, the guy who counts Jews and things. Obviously there's bad apples. And he called Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel a psyop.
Oh, so he's a bit of a conspiracy guy.
So this is a portmanteau. A psyop is a psychological operation. in the strictest sense, it was, right? It psychologically was terrorized people of Israel, but I don't think that's what he means.
It's like Blitzkrieg is a psyop or something.
Yeah, yes, but that's yeah.
All right.
The Lightning War was a psyop.
Sure.
But so this guy, I don't know. Does it tell you?
I mean, look, if you're telling me, hey, there's people in the Trump administration who are a bit conspiracy oriented, I go, it's not a surprise.
But there's a line.
Yeah.
So the line here is that obviously Congress is, full of nutbags on every side. And that's the problem. This is the argument was always that's the problem because these people will just kind of cakewalk into their positions. It turns out that's not the case now. John Thune, a lot of these people saying he doesn't have the votes, and he withdrew his name because they told him to.
Yeah.
Early this morning or late last night. So that's a promising
that's
development in
something,
conspiracy world.
Yeah, I guess there. I don't know what exactly position was he going to be.
The head of the Office of Special Counsel.
Oh, so that seems like
It's like a real position.
yeah, it's like a real position. But yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of conspiracy people. There's more conspiracy people than there's ever been.
It's kind of, I've been thinking about this of like, am I just exposed to it more because I'm on Twitter? It's just more.
They exist more, especially now that the Jew stuff has popped off.
Yeah.
Because that's its own kind of like area, I suppose.
Yes.
And then, after COVID and this general, I mean, there's this guy on TikTok who I've seen and it's really tragic actually, because there's probably more people like him and there's going to be more people like him. And I believe the root cause of this was COVID, but he had pancreatic cancer and he's like documenting his journey with pancreatic cancer. And so he did this thing where he's like, I'm going on it's like, I don't trust medicine at all, like whatsoever.
This is a very bad time to not trust medicine when you have cancer.
And he's like, I'm going on a 40-day water fast to kill the cancer.
Oh dear.
So he goes on this 40-day water fast. And then he says after the water fast, he's like, I basically had a bowel movement. And he's like, I passed my tumor, which is very unscientific, right?
Yeah, I think that.
So, but he's like, and
Can we get a
he's
chat
very,
GPT check on that?
And he's very like, believes, God. And he's just like, I'm putting my faith in God. And then he's documenting this whole thing. And he goes, and so I went to my oncologist. He's like, the tumor's tripled in size.
Yeah.
And now he's like in hospice. And
Wait, and he actually documented that part too?
he just goes, he documents the whole thing. His name's Rich, I believe, something. I'm sure some people who watch this seen him on TikTok. He has a pretty big TikTok, but he's just documenting this whole thing. And literally, he's like, I didn't trust any of this shit. And
it's so weird to watch people go crazy in real time like that. I mean, this used to be like a joke. I mean, that like seeing this. I mean, you remember Jack Handey, the writer, of
course.
And Jack Handey had a great deep thoughts one time. My mother always said laughter was the best medicine, which is probably why my sister died of cancer. Which is like, that is like the lunacy, and that it gets, hundreds of thousands of views is a bit troubling. The Jew stuff to me, that's always the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah.
And good Lord, is it everywhere and really being like normalized, like the Nick Fuentes stuff. And
I have a friend who works in I won't name it, but like a media satire kind of organization, and he was basically like, like the guy who like runs this now was like pitched me some article, and it was all just like the Jews and their shekels, and he's like, what the hell is this? Like, what is going on? It is.
They're doing that.
The Grabbler. Like,
is that what it's called? The Grabbler?
That was the Onion. Actually, the Onion had a hilarious, like when the Onion was
actually funny
and doing TV.
Oh yeah, they did that TV.
And they had this thing, and they coined that term.
The Grabbler.
They call him because he wants to grabble all your money. It's just stuck.
But there was the what's her name, Anna Kasparian.
Oh yeah, she did that.
She was doing that. Who seems like a confused person because she's like Armenian and she's on a show called The Young Turks, which is in the coast.
Odd.
It's an odd thing. It's like you being on a show called like The Hitler Youth or something. But it is like that. Everyone knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
And I knew of that cartoon, that like anti-Semitic cartoon, very famous one, like 15 years ago because I was writing something about it.
Right.
And now you can do this.
Certainly more.
Everyone knows about it. Yeah, I mean,
I get that sent to me like 10 times a week.
Just because you're a grabbler?
Well, because here's the thing. So with that sketch, the Jews and things, obviously, some people think it's funny. I should really try and figure out how many people actually enjoy it for the satire.
Yeah.
How many people, there's people who think it's real.
Yeah.
And there's people who are like, you work for Mossad. I wish.
Yeah.
I'll take my $7,000.
Totally.
I've made zero.
What is the $7,000 thing? Is you get paid?
Apparently there's some, again, I'm sure it has no basis in reality whatsoever, but like Israel started some information
Office or something.
office,
Yeah.
and they're paying people $7,000.
Like influencers stuff.
Influencers. Look, if I haven't got a check for $7,000, this thing doesn't exist.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But also that could be an anti-Semitic stereotype. $7,000 for a post? That's a little
First off,
stingy.
it would be in denominations of 18, if you know anything.
No, like the
$7,200.
$7,200. It is Fuentes.
Yeah.
It is all. I mean, there's so many people.
It's a real cottage industry.
It's a real cottage industry.
like there is
Candace
like,
Owens. You're a big fan of her.
I love Candace Owens. I mean, I love the Crash Out. Don't get me wrong. When
she's so
when
great.
she's live streaming, I don't watch her a ton, but when she starts live streaming from a padded room, I'll be.
Oh, it's gonna be the
I'll
best.
be sending her super chats all day.
No, that I've been watching it for work. I mean, like quite literally. And I thought it was, and I said this, we did the fifth column, we did our first video episode with Megyn Kelly as the guest. And, I've been arguing with Megyn Kelly about this. And, Megyn Kelly's not an anti-Semite. She's not a fan of Candace Owens, but it was all people pressuring her. You have to denounce her. You have the power to do so. But I said to her during that episode, it was like, in preparation for this, I watched her shit and I had it's 1,000 times crazier than I thought.
Oh,
Like I couldn't believe that
it's
it was real, and it was like I thought maybe Megyn was right when said maybe they take her out of context.
yeah.
I said, yeah, it's possible because the whole thing about who was the one that was part of the Stanford Brigitte Macron
Oh yeah.
is a man that was a part of the Stanford prison experiment, and it's like, is this just
Nuts.
a fucking
It's like a
pulling things out of a tank?
schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Like, the best kind of explanation I think is some sort of like postpartum schizophrenia mixture.
Did she just have a baby?
I believe she's.
Is that sexist to say that?
I mean, it's a thing. Postpartum is a real
Do people
thing.
become anti-Semitic after they have babies?
Maybe some people. I don't know. But again, you go in her comments, and it's
Yeah.
not people being like, "You're nuts."
Yeah.
It's literally a million people being like, "Candace knows the truth."
Oh,
What's your PO box? Where do I send you my money?
The thing is that you, looking at your videos and videos on YouTube, Instagram, it is like just a rodeo of anti-Semitism.
It's insane.
It's like oh, Danny the Jew with his little hat. And it's like a little hat. That's a thing now.
And you know what my maybe greatest weakness is, and probably like Noam or somebody would be like, this is not good. But I find anti-Semitism so funny.
Yeah, it's
Like there is something so funny about it
Yeah.
to me. But then like my parents are like, like lived in Russia, and like
Yeah.
my parents both in their passports it said they were Jewish.
yeah.
Right. So they're like, this shit's not funny. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know. It's so funny to me.
I was in Israel and I was at a friend's house, and the father, I mean, she's a listener to this stuff, so shout out to you. Your father fought in the 6-Day War, was shot. He had his like dog tags and his papers were like blood on them stuff. And mother, both the parents were Holocaust survivors, and that's how they ended up in Israel. The parents were from Poland or something. And he was at the dinner table crushing on Holocaust jokes. And she was like, you cannot do this. And he's like, what? They're funny. Come on.
Sure.
And they were funny. And it was like, and she was like very offended by it. But if you made a joke that was like, a Holocaust type joke to your parents, would they not think it was funny?
No, they would like it if it was, depending on what it was.
They're not the funniest people in the world.
No, my parents are pretty funny. No,
Yeah.
they like that stuff. Yeah, they find that stuff funny. Like again, this is like, I mean, if you know enough Jews, because this is the funniest thing about the Jews. I told this to you the other day, but the funniest thing about the people who count Jews and things is that Jews also love to know what Jews are in things.
Yeah. Well, you have the double whammy.
Yeah.
Because you're Jewish and Canadian.
Right, but like
Because Canadians are like,
Canadians
he's from
or
Mississauga.
something,
It's like,
whatever,
good Lord.
yeah.
They're spotting Canadians and everything.
absolutely, like a Canadian is like in the NFL or NBA or like
Yeah.
Steve Nash. You go,
Steve,
this guy's Canadian.
good example. Canadian always.
Yeah.
But yet Jews do want to know.
But Jews love, like, I actually think there's some Jews who, I told you, like, my dad sent me this video, this YouTube video, and it was, here are all the Jewish billionaires. And I was just like, where's this video going? Like, literally, I'm like, what is the angle here?
And he's like, Danny, I'm too proud. Like, look at us.
That was his angle. He goes,
That was his
my
angle.
dad's literally like, we're killing it.
We're killing it.
And then I'm like, I have to see the source of this.
Yeah.
And it was just a normal, like, and it was a channel that had 1,000 subscribers. This video had 500,000.
How did it come across the transom for him?
I have no idea.
What is his
YouTube just
algorithm?
YouTube knows what you like.
Yeah, it really can read your mind.
Yeah.
Do we have a couple people out there? Does anybody want to have a Lucas? We'll get Lucas to Lucas. You got a question, a comment for Danny. Let's get Lucas there. Hey, Lucas.
What's up, Lucas?
Lucas is muted. There you go. We got you now, Lucas.
Good. First off, I want to say, Danny, huge fan of the show, Boys Cast.
Oh, thanks.
Listen to it every single week. I do want to say my favorite episode of you guys did recently was episode from August 15th, oddly enough, about Bridget McCron.
Yep.
Where you had Colin Tyler and Lev Fear. I've never laughed so hard in my life.
Oh, that's
With
great.
just him
Because so many
talking
people
about
hated
being, like,
that episode.
Oh, really?
being fat and eating too much, and you guys just really, it was just super hilarious. I loved it.
Oh, great.
Keep on doing. Definitely bring those guys on.
Yeah.
Because that was awesome.
Thanks, Lucas.
I guess question I want to ask you is, not politically related, but sports related. With you being Canadian, would you be more happy if the Toronto Blue Jays win the World Series after 32 years, or would you have been happier if Canada had won the Stanley Cup last
That's a
season?
hard one.
That's
in
a
Game
hard one.
7?
I have my Jays jersey on right now.
Danny doesn't fuck around with
Okay.
the Jays stuff.
I don't fuck around.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're telling me, I will take a Maple Leaf Stanley Cup over a Toronto Blue Jays World Series.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you have to.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
you have to.
I mean, the Maple Leafs have not won the Stanley Cup in color.
Oh, that's right. They have.
Like it's like if you watch, it's like black and white.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how long it's been.
Yeah, where that's like
It's like
Gordie
60
Howe era.
Like 67, I think.
That's a lot, particularly for Toronto. Like, I mean, the fact Toronto could never lose an NHL franchise.
No.
Except that, other places in Canada can, like Quebec.
Yeah,
I
Quebec.
miss the Nordiques.
know.
It was the Fleur de Lis logo. Everything
amazing.
about it was
They're
fantastic.
they're apparently angling to get a team back there. But
Really?
they built like a 20,000 seat arena, and they're trying to because
That's very French of them. They did it first, and then they're going to
yeah,
try
well,
to.
that's
get-
like the incentive because sometimes they're just like you need these things
Yeah.
in order to kind of
Did they lose the team because French Canadians don't care about hockey?
No.
Is that's not
Hell
a stereotype?
There's no such thing as Canadians not caring about hockey.
No, because like Guy Lafleur and like people like these
they won
great
the Stanley Cup the next year in Colorado, I believe, or 2 years later. They were Stanley Cup champions with Ray Bork, that team, and like the Colorado they became the Colorado.
Oh yeah,
Avalanche.
because the Rockies, and then Bork got traded from the Bruins. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But
last 2 seasons. Yeah.
no, I think it was just like similar to the Brooklyn Dodgers going to LA, just pure money.
Yeah.
Just there's a lot more money to.
All right. Well, thanks for the question and comment too.
Jays, go
And I gotta say also, I fully agree. And I was listening to the podcast the other day, and I'll just say go to the last episode of the Boys Cast, and it starts with an Elizabeth Warren thing that is so amazingly offensive that I can't mention it now, but it's really funny. All right, who do we have up next? I forgot the name already because I'm not smart. Joseph, how's it going, brother Joseph? Oh my God, does he have a Quebec flag behind him?
It looks like it.
Look at that. Joseph, we got him unmuted.
Tabarnak.
Tabarnak. Is that us or him? That Joseph is...
Are we live?
no, we're live with some people.
Okay, I'm here.
There we go.
I'm here,
there
boys.
we go.
There we go.
I'm here, but not all there.
You can hear, but not. Are you French Canadian? Are you a Quebecois?
You know, it's funny. You got the Quebec flag in the background. I'm actually from Rhode Island, but I travel to Quebec all the time because I'm confused. I don't go south on vacation. Wow. I go north. So that's a personal problem. Wow. But I also want to show off, since you guys are talking about the Quebec Nordiques.
Oh, nice. Look at that. That is fantastic. The Nords. I have a Hartford Whalers sweatshirt that I wear because it's just not only a great logo, an insane team name, and it's also in Hartford. It's just like the weirdest city to have a hockey team, but it couldn't last. But what's going on, buddy?
Exactly. Good to talk to you, fellas. You've been talking a lot about Nazis and neo-Nazis and conspiracy theorists. So I'm going to bring up probably the most famous of the Hitler apologists, David Irving.
Yes.
And Michael, I recently saw a segment where you referenced the Deborah Lipstadt trial.
Yeah.
As you know, she was the professor who was sued by Irving for libel back in the late 90s.
And by the way, you got that right. Everyone gets it wrong and thinks that she sued Irving. And it was actually Irving that initiated the lawsuit. Yeah. And lost.
Mm-hmm. I know you're quite familiar with that trial. So 2 questions here. One, I'm wondering what you think Irving tapped into at the time that made him so appealing in the community of neo-Nazis and Holocaust deniers that kind of laid the foundation for these modern day conspiracy
for
theorists
sure,
like
they did.
Candace Owens and Daryl Cooper and the like.
Yeah.
And I'll save my second.
Really shitty movie about it, by the way. Who's in it? Rachel Weisz, I think, plays Deborah Lipstadt.
And who produced it?
Yeah.
Might have to update
This
my
one,
list.
I don't know, but I'm going to be like, probably. I think you're probably right about that. But the thing about Irving was that Irving was somebody who was in good stead with academics in the 60s and 70s. So he wrote this book about Dresden, which turned out to be totally wrong. He said there were like 200,000+ people killed in Dresden. Best numbers we have is 25,000 to 35,000. It's still a lot. It's still a horrible event.
Oh, so that's the numbers that he goes high on?
Yeah, that's right. That's like, so those numbers are way
There's
too low.
271 killed.
It's like they're
200,000.
Germans. Let's get the numbers up.
Yeah.
But he was considered, and he brought this up at the trial quite a bit. He was like considered a really, really good researcher. He spoke German fluently because when he was a young man, he went. This is actually true. He went and worked in like a coal mine in the Ruhr. In like the Ruhr Valley, like to learn German because he was clearly a Nazi already and obsessed with Germans. And so he had great spoken German. And because of his sympathies, he'd get these documents that nobody else could get. He'd like winkle out these documents from all of these people who didn't trust other historians. And so he was actually very, very good at getting stuff. So he was actually the only intellectual amongst, because he's a smart guy. He's a bullshit artist and a fabulist. And that trial proved it because they went through like razor thin. It was like 29-day trial. Every footnote, every piece of bullshit. And there's a very, very good book about this by a guy called Didi Gutenplan called History On. I think it's called History on Trial. But it's like a great recapitulation of it. It's not particularly partisan or anything. And he gives a meaning that he gives Irving due when he's like occasionally right about something. But that was why. But I will also say that he wasn't very widely known outside of like people who really cared about like, went to Wehrmacht battle recreations in, the middle of Manitoba or something. But people like that knew him and historians, and there was a troubling relationship that historians had with him because he was good at things. So the Hitler Diaries, do you remember this thing?
No.
One of the great stories of all time. And Robert Harris, the novelist, who wrote the novel Fatherland, which became one of the biggest selling, wrote a book about this, like one of the non-novels that he wrote about the Hitler Diaries. And there was a guy in Switzerland who is this total psycho, like the leather apron guy. And he faked in unbelievable detail these Hitler Diaries. And the newspaper, the Sunday Times in London, bought them. And they had to have all these people come in to authenticate them, and they brought in Irving. So Irving is a partisan. Irving was the one that said they're bullshit.
Oh, Irving said they were bullshit?
Yeah, there was a very, very famous historian who when he was brought in, he was a guy who taught at Oxford. It was pretty clear that he didn't read German very well.
Right.
And it was like, there's like a bunch of things that. So Irving had his utility, but as he got older, and once he had a book canceled because there was a big publisher, I think it was Harper's, that was publishing his Goebbels biography, and they canceled it. And at that moment, you look at his website, and he goes wild anti-Semite, like crazy Jews are everywhere.
Kanye.
And he called them
Kanye.
like Kanye is like Wittgenstein compared to him. Like this. He just went absolutely bananas. But I think that's probably.
Yeah, and there's the
why.
element of just like this is this forbidden thing.
Correct.
Right,
Yes.
where you're like, you're not allowed to talk about this. So
Yeah.
then people are just gravitate. Like, in Canada, they had Ernst Zundel.
Oh, yeah. Well, Irving was very close with Ernst Zundel. He used to wear the helmet.
The helmet. I just watched a documentary, an Errol Morris documentary.
It's so good.
Yeah, about the
Mr. Death.
Mr. Death or whatever, about the Luchter or whatever, the guy who was like, he was
He's from Boston.
he's from Boston, and his
made,
job
like,
was
execution.
he was like set up execution devices.
Fred Leuchter.
Fred Leuchter, right?
Yeah.
And they set up these execution devices. So then he hired him to bring him
to chip the samples.
Auschwitz.
Yeah.
He was like breaking rocks in like gas chambers, and then he sent them to a lab, but the lab didn't know what
they were. Yeah.
Like he didn't tell them what this was for. So then they crushed them all up together to analyze them. And essentially,
he's like, there is no material in here, and it's like, yeah, you literally had like a chip bag, and you were like, not, but Irving was Irving used to cite that the Leuchter report.
Yeah, the Leuchter report.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. I have some people who are lean towards these feelings who listen to my conspiracy podcast. As you will. So that's how I found out about them, because they're like, you got to check out. And then the thing is, they always tell me stuff like the people who are like, I would describe them as neo-Nazis. There's probably a couple of them, and they always will be like, check this out. They're like, this is proof, and it takes like 2 minutes to disprove this stuff.
Yeah.
It takes so little time, and you go, this is complete bullshit.
Yes.
Like there's this quote from this guy, I don't know what his name was, but he worked for like a senator, and he died in like a plane crash. It was like a terrorist plane crash, and then some like Daily Stormer type outlet, like some far right neo-Nazi outlet, 18 months after he died, essentially came out and they go, we got an interview with him when he was still alive. We didn't record it, but here it is. And he's basically like, the Jews are trying to kill everyone. And you're like, you guys believe this shit? This is insane.
I love this idea that there's some office in like a Tel Aviv suburb where guys like, we got to get Charlie Kirk. Who's getting? Let's go Kirk, right? Get him, right? He's terrible.
Why? You go, I don't know.
He might be wavering a little bit. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Crazy.
But it is also to the point that you made. It's something that for a long time was sport on the left.
Yeah.
Which was like, oh, you don't know the real story. They're not telling you the real story. And it's just this farrago of lies to kind of manufacture consent. And now there's a right-wing version of that.
Yeah.
And the Jews are obviously the focal
It's
point.
not all people on the right.
Well, particularly Holocaust denial, by the way. There's a lot of, horseshoe theory of left-right stuff on Holocaust denial. And Irving is the closest you can get to somebody with any pedigree who understands the sources. He does know a lot, which is what destroyed him at the trial. It's like, no, you present yourself accurately as knowing this period very well, so you can't have not known X or Y.
Right.
And that always blows up his stuff. But the numbers, it's so high, and it's like, because it's in some way I understand that it's inconceivable to people that so many people could be killed in such an industrial scale. But the thing about it is that we do have very, very precise documentation of stuff where it's like 100,000.
Yeah.
150,000 here. Like, this is who we got in Lithuania. This is who's been liquidated, and from Nazi sources, from the archives. And it's like, your argument then is like, even if you said it's just on those 4 days, right?
Right.
You're like, it was only 250,000 people made to lie in pits on their children that were just killed in the pits. It's like, that's fine.
Not only that, every Jewish person of my age, knows someone who has firsthand experience.
Of course. Of course.
It's not they're like, oh, this happened to my great grandmother. You're like then my grandmother's. It's like my
grandmother's sister died.
My grandmother's just like, I lived through all of this. Like, I remember when I was
It's funny that all of you
would, and you're like, my grandmother has a tattoo. Like,
your grandmother,
not my grandmother. I used to do a joke actually that she had a tattoo, but it was on her lower back, and she called it her camp stamp.
It was just a phone number.
She called it her camp stamp, and then someone stole it, and it was on Jeff Ross's roast.
Really?
Yeah. So one of Jeff Ross did not steal it. I would just like to be clear. One of his writers, he closed out. He had his roast last year on Netflix.
Yeah.
Literally, he closed it out with like my bit, like word for word. It was crazy.
And
like, there's no way he arrived at camp stamp as well. Like, he literally is like my grandmother.
But there's other bits of it that are just the same.
Like, I mean, the main joke was essentially like the setup is slightly different, but the punchline is like my grandmother had a Holocaust tattoo. It was on her lower back. She called her camp stamp.
Yeah.
And
that's
like,
kind of that's, I would say that
like the parallel thought camp. I go, no way.
Did you ever talk to him about it?
I've never met him. Like, I don't think like he stole it. Like, he had like 12 writers.
They have a lot of. I mean, that's the thing that people don't understand about comedy is that people say like, people I think are very funny. Like Nikki Glazer's very funny, but I also know a bunch of people that write a lot of jokes
like,
for her for the
roast. Nobody's writing like their own jokes. Like,
Yeah.
I had a bunch of friends who wrote for Shane for like the SBs. That's just how it is.
Yeah, like Jesse Joyce is one of these great
I know
writers,
Jesse
and like
Joyce.
they're very funny people. But
Yeah, but it's just how it is.
do we have a quick? You have a quick follow up? We'll give you a quick follow up. I can't hear him now, by the way, just for the record. Let's get him back. Go ahead. Now you go.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate the opportunity for a follow up. Michael, as you know, the British historian Richard Evans was the lead witness for the defense in that Lipstadt trial. And I recently read his book chronicling the trial. I didn't read the Gutenplan book that
Oh,
you
Richard Evans, you
mentioned.
said, yeah, I kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been long considered one of the preeminent experts on Nazi Germany. And I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear your thoughts about Evans as a historian.
Well, I'll keep this one brief, but this probably requires like an academic paper as a response. I don't love him as a historian. He did a 3-part book about the sort of rise of the Third Reich and then the fall. You know, it's kind of Weimar era, pre-war, and then war, and it's a good, useful book. But I disagree with him on a lot of stuff, and I think that he's extremely political, which is a weird thing. He's like very much a man of the left, which is fine. It has nothing to do with writing history about Nazi Germany. But there's a lot of stuff I disagree with him about. But there's a thing that if you don't care about these issues, you don't read about this stuff, and I've been following it like in a very detailed way for a long time. There are those historians that become very popular just because they produce a lot, right? I mean, there's people like, oh, Stanley Kernow on Vietnam or whatever, you know? Like, people know these historians because they see them in the bookstores, and they become accepted. Like, there's examples of it being right, too, like Ian Kershaw, et cetera. But you have these people that are like, I'm not super impressed by him, although he did attack Timothy Snyder's book Bloodlands, which I thought was very funny because I really don't like Timothy Snyder. So, his beat now is just to call everyone a fascist, and I don't think he's a historian anymore. But he moved to Canada. He was one of the 3 people from Yale that moved to Canada to get out away from Donald Trump's fascism.
Oh, nice.
Which you could frame as a bit of a cowardly move.
Yeah, and he's also going to hate it when they become the 51st state. But.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He probably moves to Canada. Trump starts the 51st state stuff. He's just like, God damn it.
Yeah, I
got to escape this guy.
And I just want to give you an opportunity on that point. When people think that Canada is the kind of social democratic paradise, or so much more liberated and liberal than this country, or certain places in this country, how do you respond to those people that say to you, oh, Canada, they're big fans of Canada, I want to move to Canada, it's so much better than this hellhole?
I mean, look, I only moved here because of the entertainment industry. I probably would have remained in Canada.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, the Canada that I grew up in was great. It, like anywhere else, it has its problems. Like a lot of people right now, I haven't been there because of basically this diploma mill thing that I was talking about with PRs. When I left Canada, the population was 36 million.
Yes.
Okay. It's 41 million now in 6 years.
Is that true?
Way too many people.
6 million?
Yeah. It was no.
I don't believe that number 6 million.
It's 5 million. But no, so they basically added 5 million people really quickly, and they just don't have the infrastructure to handle it.
Yeah, it's going to be social.
They just dropped the ball on this permanent residency thing.
Yeah.
So now everybody's like the healthcare system. It's like you go in there and like you have to wait, and it's those crazy wait times. It's free, but it's not free because your taxes pay for it.
Yeah.
No question, the healthcare system in America is better if you have money.
It's the best. See, this is what people. It's always like a language problem. This is the best healthcare in the world.
By far.
It is not the best health insurance in the world. Getting it paid for and the cost and everything. But as far as doctors are concerned, it's like you don't go into a major city in Italy and go into the hospital and there's Indian doctors and Chinese doctors.
Absolutely.
Because they come here for the education and so many stay.
And you make more money here.
You make more money here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like the notion, because there's a lot of like, everybody in Canada is like, oh, nobody in America has healthcare. You're like, everybody has healthcare here.
Yeah.
Like the notion that you're like, oh, Canada has socialized healthcare and it's not here. It is. Nobody's getting turned away.
We pay more per person in this country on healthcare than
I remember
Canada.
I had a high school teacher. She told me, she's like, yeah, I had a friend in America and she broke her arm. And she couldn't.
She's dead.
Yeah, but she's like, she couldn't go to the hospital. I'm like, that is not true.
She couldn't go to the hospital because she's a fucking moron.
Yeah, you're like,
because you can go to a state-run hospital. They're all over this city. They cannot refuse you care.
Correct.
And I mean, even the private-run hospitals don't refuse you care either. Is it the best system? Absolutely not. The fact that I do, jobs in my life for health insurance is insane.
Agreed.
But it's also a vestige of a total crazy itself socialist policy, which is wage and price controls.
Yeah.
So during the war, there was wage and price controls. You couldn't pay people more what the government set. They started giving people health insurance as an incentive because that wasn't covered by wage and health price controls. Price controls obviously separate, but the wage control stuff is what did it. But it's funny that you said this, is that I was reporting in Europe right after the migrant crisis quite a bit. I was over there for Vice a lot. And anytime somebody didn't want to complain about immigrants, they wanted to but didn't want to say it, they would talk about the ER and healthcare. It's like, it's crazy. I just can't get an appointment these days. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
Like, I'll tell you, Canada, if you have something that's not an emergency, like my friend, he tore his rotator cuff.
Yeah.
This was probably 20 years ago. He needed surgery. It was like, yeah, we'll see you in 18 months.
Yeah, that's it.
Whereas like here, like the main thing here I find is that the people who really get screwed the most with the healthcare system are just the people kind of like the middle class, because you have enough money where you can't get free healthcare. Correct. You have to have insurance. Yeah. And that insurance premium is like a disproportionate proportion of your income.
The amount that I pay for my insurance premium is
it's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
And I've lived in Sweden for a long time, so I have some sympathy.
There's no shootings in Canada. I will say that's nice. But I am a big
stabbings.
I do like the Second Amendment. It's honestly like
how the stabbings doing.
The stabbings, it's not nowhere like the UK.
They love stabbing.
The funny thing is they just did an assault rifle involuntary buyback. They're doing essentially turn it in or you're a criminal. And they're like, we need to get these guns off the street. You're like, all the guns that anybody has for any sort of criminal purposes are not legal guns. They all come from America.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And but like they're like, oh, we need to get rid of guns from people who hunt because that'll solve the problem. And you're like, that's not going to solve the problem.
There's an article, and if you think I'm lying about this, go look it up in the New York Times about Sweden. And I know, I lived in Sweden for a long time. My daughter has a Swedish passport. About the hand grenade crime. You know this?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. It's like we can't get the guns, but we do have some hand grenades, and they're all from the Balkan War.
Yeah,
like it's like you can get like AK-47s and overstock like hand grenades from the 90s.
Right.
And because that was the first waves of immigrants in the 90s were all like Bosnians and people like that. And there's a hand grenade problem. And they were, I think I just heard, I have to check this, that they were the shooting capital of Europe.
Yeah.
And now I think they maybe just went down, but I don't know who beat. It was like Malta or something. I know who's beating them. But when I moved to Sweden, it would be that dinner party conversation that you wanted to punch everyone. It's like, your gun violence is very, very bad. And I'm like, I don't.
It's like, you guys have a hand grenade problem.
You guys have a literal hand grenade. It's like a World War I problem, like potato mashers that are being thrown at people. But that stuff. Canada is an insane place and a great place.
Yeah,
I love Hortons and I love poutine.
Yeah, it's off track at the moment.
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau did some real damage to that country in a number of ways, and Trump is amplifying that with all this trade war stuff. Whether it can be,
you almost had a good.
I mean, I will say all these like permanent residents, they're not getting renewed. They're like, we're sending you back.
Is that true?
Yeah. They're essentially like, hey, we screwed up. We're not going to be renewing these people's permanent residence, and they're all mad. They're like protesting. Like these people are like outside of colleges and stuff. There's like a whole thing where, because a lot of them are, all these businesses are saying we can't find labor, so then they're like, we get temporary like foreign labor.
Yeah.
Essentially, but it's like all a total scam.
Yeah, it's
just
a lot,
paying lower wages. Like there are all these issues. My hope is that they get ironed out. I mean, if they don't, Canada's getting a far right prime minister.
Well, you almost had a sensible guy, Pierre.
Yeah,
and it was Trump
dropped the ball.
He did a bad job at that last stretch.
Although, let's hope that Zoran and Pierre, because they were polling on Polymarket pretty similarly.
At the same...
Pierre was like, I mean, I don't think Zoran's going to lose, but Pierre, like 2 months before the election, was at like 80-something percent.
80-something percent. But it was then the trade war stuff.
It was, literally Trump just handed it to him.
Yeah.
Because basically, because like with all the indigenous, they had like all these like indigenous reconciliation stuff in Canada. And so there was this whole thing where people would like not fly the flag because you're like, we're ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Like Trudeau permanently lowered the flags
For a fake story.
at half-mast.
Yeah.
Right, for this fake residential school.
That's what I mean specifically, not like
Graves.
they
The
were treated
residential schools
wonderfully.
were bad.
They were bad.
Yeah, they were very bad.
But the mass graves, they've
totally
never
fake.
found a single body.
One iota, not even a bone fragment.
It is
absolutely zero.
one of the wildest, and like maybe with Barry Weiss taking over CBS, 60 Minutes could do that story because it is
Crazy.
one of the craziest stories. And when I first read, it was Jonathan Kay, I think,
Kay, yeah.
who was at like the National Post and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was writing about it, and I was like, I trust him. I think he's a brilliant guy, but this can't be entirely right. And the more I dug into it, I was like, oh God, this is like lunacy.
I was in 2021 and being like, guys, this is bullshit. This is total bullshit. And I would have Canadians who listen to our podcast message me and be like, yo, you're wrong about this. Like this is, and then they would be like, I guess you were right. Anyways, what I was saying is he lowered the flags to half-mast. So like in Parliament, permanently because of this. Like they were just permanently at half-mast. And then there was a whole thing for Remembrance Day, maybe last year or a couple of years ago, where they were like, we lower the flags at half-mast for Remembrance Day on November 11th. And then he was like, I don't want to put them back up to put it back down. And they're like, you have to put the flag back up so that we can lower
permanent, we did bad.
Yeah, and so there was this whole element where people were like, the Canadian flag was shameful, and you didn't want to wave it or whatever. And then Trump shows up with the 51st day. All of a sudden, flag manufacturers, killing it.
Yeah, that was like Danish flag manufacturers after the cartoon. So like we cannot keep up with the amount that people are burning.
Now
these
all of a
things.
sudden, everybody's Canadian flags.
All right, we have Bobby. We'll do one more with Bobby. Bobby, how's it going, buddy?
It's going very well.
Great.
Lovely to have a session in the morning for you both. And always a pleasure to have the great 51st state discussed as a Canadian in the U.S.
Oh, where in Canada are you from?
Montreal.
Montreal. All right, I'm sorry about the Quebecois comments before. I was just fucking around.
No,
I don't know anything about it.
This is like a Brazil on social media. Anytime it gets mentioned, we're like thrilled. Yeah. So positive or negative, it doesn't matter.
It's like the Canadians.
Yeah.
So, Danny, I think you're the perfect guest to weigh in on this. And Michael, I know you're a Hitchens fan, so I'll throw some of that in the mix. I remember reading an old essay of his, and I don't know whether it was in Love, Poverty, and War or in Arguably, but he discusses fascism and the kind of societal response to it. And I think he writes that were we only to have made more fun of it, were we only to have been more like merciless in how we responded to it in this satiristic way, people would have seen that, in the 30s, the brown shirts were absolute jokes. I mean, they weren't in the end, but the ideology was nonsense, and these people were not serious in terms of any kind of intellectual approach. And I used to believe that. And then the past decade happened, and we see Candace Owens, whose superpower, I think, is to ignore all evidence that contradicts her views.
Correct.
She's got a second one though, too, and that's this absolute like adamantine shamelessness. And we keep seeing this, right?
Yeah.
She's not the only one. And we make fun of these people. And I think we try our best to make fun of, the antisemites, the fascists, the kooks, but they still find an audience and they keep going. So in light of what we've seen, in the past 10, 15 years, would you say that characterization of humor as, as the all-powerful cudgel is accurate, or are we living in a different era?
That, by the way, I just want to, do we have some sort of prize for that? Was, I think, the best question in two-way history.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic question. But Danny, go ahead.
My hope is that humor can kind of help with this kind of stuff. But then again, you're like, I make a satire video and half the people think it's real. So I actually don't like,
Does anyone like look at you and be like, little Jewy?
Yes, that is. I mean, literally, like that's probably a third of the comments. Or everybody's like, "This guy's a fucking Jew." Nice try, Mossad.
Yeah.
Like
I only posted that once, but it's fine. Yeah.
It's a false flag.
It's
is
a
what
false
it is.
flag.
Right? AstroTurfing.
I mean,
It's
the
the
problem
USS Liberty of videos on Instagram.
Yeah, and like I think there is a big element where now you can actually, you can go on YouTube, you can make tons of money.
Yeah,
Whereas like
sure.
this was a very difficult thing to monetize in the past.
Correct, yeah.
Generally, you would see like, someone who's like their business is like hating Jews. You go, generally if you look at those people, besides maybe Henry Ford, you can't really point to any successful ones. Generally, this ruined you.
And he had to back away from.
And he had to back away from
Yeah.
that stuff. But he had like he had the car company. This was
Yeah.
this is ancillary to that. But now you're like, you can just kind of like make a living.
The incentives are totally.
The incentives are wrong, and
Yeah.
there isn't like this thing where you're like this social outcast
Yeah.
anymore. Like you can find this, you can find your audience.
feel
and
that
your
there's a
audience
community.
might be big.
Yeah. No, I mean, you feel that there's a community of like-minded people. And, we say the word newsletter now, and it's usually preceded by the word Substack.
Right.
In the past, to get the Cranks and the Kooks and the David Irving types, Ron Paul in the 90s had the Ron Paul Survival Report.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a band. It's like the Ron, and it was a newsletter, and you had to know where to get it and subscribe to it. The Institute for Historical Review, which was the fake, phony academic-y sounding Holocaust-style outfit in California. Like you had to subscribe to their, and to find out about that stuff was
You found it in
a
the back of
trial.
probably like a classified.
Yeah, in like Soldier of Fortune magazine, you had to already be in that loop. You don't get
Ernst
told
Sundell would be huge right now if he was on Rumble.
Yes, yeah.
Like, he would be huge.
But I would say that like it's a question that has come up with one of our mutual friends that I mentioned before, was that who said something very similar to what you said, which was to your question, which is that we thought sunlight was the best disinfectant, and clearly that's not true. Which is like, oh yeah, there's enough crazy people out there. In what's true doesn't matter. The whole fact-checking industry, nobody really gave a shit about.
About what's true.
Yeah, but I think it's true, and I'll give you an example. And if you have a moment, if you hang out for a second, I'm going to play a clip because I'll tell you stuff that does work on a smaller scale. There's stuff that works on a smaller scale, whereas like, can you prevent Donald Trump or a leader or whatever by, sort of get the brown shirts to be less powerful? You can change cultures with humor, because the great thing about comics in the past 15 years was so many people felt that it was the only place that they could actually be a little more honest about things, and you'd find it in comedy, like Chappelle, like talking about trans stuff, for instance. It doesn't matter if you agree with that stuff. When I was at Vice, they would publish articles like, "Don't watch this."
Yeah.
Not it's bad. The comedy's bad. It's like, don't watch it. It's harmful. But I want to play a clip of Danny and Ryan Long, who did a piece a long time ago. It's a short clip of it, but it's 10 million views when I last saw this.
Must have 100 million views.
And on various platforms, 100 million views. So when you see Danny, I think that things like that were hugely influential. When did that video come out?
That came out in 2020.
2020. And let's watch a clip of this video, the racism, anti-racism video, and why I think this stuff is effective.
When me and Brad first met, I didn't think we'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. We both have a lot of opinions about people of color, even though we barely know any.
I say colored people, but as long as we're classifying them, we both think minorities are a united group who think the same and act the same.
And vote the same. You don't want to lose your black card. Sorry, I don't know. I just think we should
Roll back discrimination laws so we can hire based on race again. Jinx, now you owe me a Coke. Hey, tell them what you told me yesterday.
White actors should only do voices for white cartoon characters.
I've been saying that for years. Stick to your own.
Us white people, we have so much privilege.
I agree. It is a privilege to be white. Ask him about interracial dating.
All I said is that black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are fetishizing them.
Guys against interracial dating now. Like, am I being pranked? Did Boomer put you up to this?
My being pranked is one of my favorite things. That has 100 million views. Probably the one that I pulled that from had 10 million views.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. The South Park episodes, the series in like 2018, 19, when they were like subtly, and now the South Park's just like shitting on Trump all the time,
Yeah.
which is necessary and funny and interesting. But that stuff existed when the sort of communication of culture had closed.
Yeah.
It had gotten a lot more restrictive, but comedy and comedians were allowed to, because they're like, we get a free pass.
Well, you're like, in our case then, and in my case now, there's nothing you can take from me.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like, I
exactly.
do know a lot of people who are like, yeah, I'm a writer for The Daily Show. You're like, I have health insurance. Like,
Yeah,
they have a very fixed set of things they're allowed to talk about.
So you're saying that the warriors for free speech are like essentially losers?
Yeah.
When you have nothing to take from you.
Let me tell you, every guy who you see in my world who has a podcast,
Yeah.
they didn't do it because they wanted to. They wanted Netflix to be like, here's a TV deal or Comedy Central, and that just disappeared.
Yeah.
And so we were just like forced to go do podcasts.
Yeah. No, and I think that also on the Hitchens piece and the sort of satire in fashion, one of the things that is important to point out is that in the Weimar Republic, there were hate crimes laws. In like Goebbels, he used to make fun of this chief of police in Berlin, I think his name is Bernhard Weiss, who was Jewish. And he was brought to court like how many times on this? A number of times. So the idea that the hate crime stuff, you hear that a lot too, is like if they had hate crimes legislation and things like this, none of this stuff would have happened. The thing about humor is when Jimmy Kimmel had his very brief, his brief suspension, there was some person who just went on Google and found like a comedian in Nazi Germany who had gotten, I don't know, thrown off of some movie or something because he made a joke at the expense of the Nazis. No one had ever heard of this before, but you just, in the archives, it's exactly the same thing. The humor, that kind of humor cannot disarm people with guns. And the thing about the SA, the brown shirts, and their communist counterparts, and they were fighting in the streets, they had guns and knives, and they killed people. And humor is not a great shield against people shooting at you. So you can make a hilarious
I'm not going to
joke.
stop a firing squad with my tight five.
Yeah, like that's when the knife comes down. I mean, like, OJ, let me tell you a joke. And it's like, no, they're going to kill you. And that's that. So I think it's overvalued in some ways in like a big sense. But I think stuff that you guys did, like things like that, stuff that Louis talked about, Shane Gillis talked about, and they say, oh, they're the anti-woke comedians. Like, not really. Like, if you watch like Schultz's stuff now, he's not doing it's not about being a dad because he just had a kid. Of
course.
That was the moment. And he didn't give a shit in the moment because he had nothing to lose, and it made him get a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people have, no question. I mean, Joe Rogan, like a lot of people have benefited from just in a time where it felt like you're like, oh, there's all these things you're not allowed to say. And you're like, well, we're going to say
But you
them.
can't do that now. There's no like if you went up in the cellar.
There's no sketch I could make that could just solve all the Jew hatred.
Yeah.
There's no like, there's nothing.
Would you do it if you could though? Probably
Sure,
not. No,
absolutely.
you wouldn't. It's too funny.
Oh man, my mother would be so proud of me. She goes, Danny, you solved all the Jew hatred.
You did this stuff. You solved it all. Amazing. Yeah. All right. Danny Polishchuk, tell us where you're performing.
I'll be at Hyenas Comedy Club in Dallas this Friday and a Saturday. You can get tickets at dannycomedy.com. I'll be New Orleans at Skankfest next month.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
all sold out, but there might be some single day tickets left. And you can come see me in New York and just follow me on socials, Danny Jokes. And
that's it.
Check out my
It's
calling.
not, that's it. That's a
Check out
lot.
my calling shows. Check out the Boys Cast.
It's 3 podcasts you do.
I have way too many.
It's way
I'm
too.
literally
Nobody
doing
needs
it
that
right
much
now.
Danny Polishchuk.
I know. I was doing my bathhouse live call-in show last night from the stand, and their Wi-Fi doesn't work, and I had a total crash. out
Do it at the cellar where it's a real club.
I know. I love the stand, and they've had me for. I've been doing it there for years. So
Yeah.
I have a loyalty there, but they're just like their Wi-Fi doesn't work. And
That's
we're just
not-
live shit. I know this is quasi live, but like
It's usually live, but
live production is a nightmare.
it is a nightmare.
Nightmare.
We know it very well here. And you out there who have
call-ins.
watched the show, you know it very well. Don't shake your head. It's not you. The sound is great. It's these guys. They're the problem. Sound fantastic. Very good sound guy.
buttery.
We don't have credits at the end, so he's getting no credit for this, which is great. All right, Danny. See Danny in Dallas and in Skankfest and all that stuff. And just watch the stuff online. He's one of my faves. One of the smartest comics out there, too. Danny Polishchuk, thanks for joining us. And the rest of you, next week, Tuesday, I think we'll be back.
That's what I say
knows
every.
at this
That's
point?
what I say every
I
week.
don't have any idea. I want to be back. Send us a message if you think we should come back on Tuesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. And we will see you then at Moynihan Report, YouTube. And thanks for joining us. See you next week.